Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Capricorn October 2018 horoscope forecast. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Anyway, first thing up is, as far as October goes, the Sun will be in Libra from the 1st until the 23rd. So the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, there could be a strong concentration of energy, focus, and attention on one's career, status, recognition, notoriety, one's reputation and public image, success, authority figures, perhaps even attaining a position of authority, and the dominant parent, which is often the father. And given this is Libra energy, this could be done with a lot of Libra-like balance, equitable energy, fair-mindedness, dispersing energy evenly into various 10th house matters. Also with a lot of refinement, tact, diplomacy, and the tact and diplomacy, of course, especially in connection perhaps with the dominant parent and people in positions of authority. And also weighing the pros and cons of things, and it could be done with a lot of ambivalence and indecisiveness at this time as well. So anyway, well, the next thing up is the Sun will be in Scorpio as far as October goes, from the 23rd until the 31st. So the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, there could be a strong concentration of energy, focus, and attention on friends, acquaintances, goals, aspirations, one's future, groups, clubs, organizations, and even stepchildren if applicable. Now, given that this is Scorpio energy, this could be done with a lot of Scorpio-like emotional intensity, resourcefulness in a very willful and intractable manner, very transforming way, with a lot of probing, but rather secretive perhaps as well, and a lot of passionate energy and a lot of resilience as well. So, I mean, if there's something where, say, you're pursuing some kind of aspiration and goal and it don't seem like it's going well, the Scorpio resiliency may help you be able to bounce back from this. And anyway, and also too, I mean, it could be really focusing that attention on a Scorpio-like goal or aspiration, such as something connected with astrology, the occult, supernatural, forensics, investigation. It could be something connected with recycling or something else that might be associated with some kind of transformation or other Scorpio-like goals, such as maybe doing work as a coroner or working in embalming. So anyway, next thing up is there will be a new moon in Libra on October 8th. So the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, in some cases, this could be about the beginning of a Libra career, vocation. It could be something connected with graphic art design, drawing, painting, sculpting, modeling, doing work in the arts. It could be music, could be doing some or starting a career in acting or being an actress. Perhaps it could also be a new period where you might begin to maybe ingratiate yourself with certain groups to maybe, it might be done in order to maybe attain more success or get a higher position perhaps in life, and really and maybe attain greater career goals perhaps. Now, it could also be, in some cases, this could be about maybe a new period, maybe of peace and balance, maybe with authority figures or the dominant parent. It could be maybe a new authority figure that might be a Libra, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or simply embody Libra-like characteristics. So anyway, next thing up, there will be a full moon in Taurus on October 24th, so the 5th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, when you have a full moon, sometimes this could be a time where one can become rather tired, full, and exasperated, and in this case, perhaps at It could be a stubborn, obstinate, overly intransigent, style, even boring lover or child. It could be a hobby that you might find boring at this time, or it could also represent or reflect the culmination or completion of a Taurus-like hobby. It could be something connected with music or art, which can encompass a lot of different things such as sculpting, drawing, painting. It could be coin collecting, playing, maybe doing something of amusement and fun connected with Taurus, such as a Monopoly game. Something, and it could also, when with the full moon in Taurus and the fifth house being emphasized and highlighted, this could also be, in some cases, this could manifest in the completion, perhaps, of some kind of monetary matter, perhaps saving money, getting enough together to be able to put that money into something of a speculative nature, such as some kind of investment. And another way this could pan out or manifest is maybe a revelation or unveiling of someone that might be rather acquisitive, greedy, avaricious, very really, I mean, something where it could be a lover, it could be a child, it could be somebody that you may share some kind of creative endeavor with, or some kind of hobby or thing of amusement. So anyway, next thing up, Mercury will be in Libra as far as October goes, from the 1st until the 9th. So the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, this could be, in some cases, it could be a time where you might be doing a lot more communications with authority figures, a dominant parent, which is often the father, and do so with a lot of tact and diplomacy and articulating things very carefully, about a lot of peaceful communications, but also perhaps your mind might be weighing a lot of pros and cons over career-related matters and ways that you might be able to attain a greater notoriety or recognition, perhaps. Now, also, too, as I've stated previously, that Mercury is not just about communications. It could also be about siblings. It could be, one way this can manifest is that could be Libra siblings. They could be Libra sun, moon, or ascendant siblings, or simply ones that embody Libra-like characteristics. Might figure more prominently in your success, maybe with matters with the dominant parent. It could be in your career, perhaps, and also perhaps in maybe your public image and reputation. Of course, a lot could depend on the aspects that are made, that whether this could be to your detriment or could be positively impacting your public image and reputation. So anyway, next thing up, Mercury will be in Scorpio as far as October goes, from the 9th until the 31st. So the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, you might find yourself having more deep, incisive, provocative, probing even communications, perhaps with friends, with acquaintances, with stepchildren, if applicable. Your mind might be looking very, very deeply into 11th house matters, into the future, perhaps where you want to be at a certain point, at a later point in time in your life. And again, as I've stated before, that Mercury can also be about siblings. It's not just about communications, and that Scorpio siblings, they could be Scorpio sun, moon, or ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Scorpio-like characteristics, may factor in stronger, more prominently in your goals and aspirations at this time. So, and really, you might find yourself, at this time, being able to see, really think more beyond what's out in front of you, and seeing through subterfuge and superficiality with 11th house people, such as people that are in groups, clubs, and organizations, and even maybe friends and acquaintances at this time. So anyway, but avoid thinking of ways to manipulate these people as well, and thinking about doing so. So that could be one drawback with this energy. Anyway, next thing up is Venus will be in Scorpio as far as, it's going to be in Scorpio this month. So anyway, as far as October goes, and it will be retrograde from like the 6th till the 31st. So anyway, the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. This could be a lot of secretive private spending on friends and aspirations. It could be even maybe into really also, it could be a time too where you may also, I mean, if you're unattached at this time, Capricorn, that you might connect with a Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant at some group, club, or organization. It might be somebody that was a friend. It could be a Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or simply one that embodies Scorpio-like characteristics. Now, this could also be about doing something. I mean, this could be doing something that you enjoy, that's Scorpio-like with friends. It could be something with astrology, the occult, supernatural, even something with a Ouija board in some cases. Doing something, it could be playing some kind of mystery game like Clue or Sherlock Holmes game, and also value going beyond superficiality and really in subterfuge in acquaintances and with friends as well, and valuing transformation, which could impact your future as well. And it could be the enjoyment of humanitarian endeavors and interests at this time as well. So anyway, hold on a second, people. Sorry about that. Anyway, Mars will be in Aquarius still, so the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, situations perhaps at the place where you may generate income with people there might be more acrimonious and contentious than usual. You might really at this time become angry, perhaps a bizarre, unusual, or idiosyncratic behavior from these people at the place where you generate money. You might get a little bit more agitated if somebody's messing with your possessions at this time, and really it could be spontaneous, unpredictable outbursts of anger. Now also, and another way this can manifest in some cases is putting a lot of energy and vitality into Aquarius-like things, such as computers, electronics, even innovation, aerospace, astronomy, or even astrology, and doing so in order to make money, and might also impact your self-worth and self-esteem, and you might be more greater propensity to get into fights with friends over values, over money at this time as well. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Jupiter will be in Scorpio still, so the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, as I've talked about previously, that Jupiter can be paradoxical. It could be very strongly benign and benevolent, but it could also have a tendency to enlarge and expand. In some cases, can enlarge and expand surreptitious, nefarious, and even manipulative behavior from friends, from acquaintances, from stepchildren, even if applicable. But it could also be, in a positive note, it could be about putting a lot of exuberance and enthusiasm into Scorpio-like goals and aspirations. They might be tied into the supernatural, the occult, astrology, embalming, doing work as a coroner, something connected with transformation, which of course could be manifold different things. It could even be doing something with recycling, perhaps, or the transformation of a vehicle, say, such as rebuilding an engine or a vehicle. And also, this could manifest in having a lot of luck and fortune, going beyond subterfuge and superficiality with friends, acquaintances, and stepchildren. Also, perhaps adopting a very profound and deep philosophy that may be connected with your future at this time. So anyway, next thing up, Saturn will be in Capricorn still, so the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, you might find yourself having more restrictions and limitations with the physical body, especially if this is the actual first house in a natal chart. You might be seen as even more cold or callous on a first impression, unfortunately. And your personality, outer personality, might be a little bit more inhibited than usual. Again, especially if this is the actual first house in the natal chart. There might be more responsibilities you might have to deal with at this time than usual. But also taking serious responsibilities, to new beginnings, maybe people from your early childhood as well. There might be a greater propensity to lose weight at this time than usual, and might come across a little bit more despondent and melancholy. I actually have Saturn conjunct my ascendant in my natal chart, and I would say my personality can be somewhat inhibited. I'm rather introverted, and I do have other indicators to help reinforce that, of course, in my chart as well. There might be, in some cases, this could be about new beginnings that are associated with something Saturn-like, such as something with government or in business, and it might require a laborious effort, a lot of industry and hard work. Anyway, next thing up, Uranus will still be in Taurus, so the 5th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. This could be about, perhaps in some cases, that Taurus friendships might strongly impact your fun, your amusement, your enjoyment. It could be actual Taurus Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Taurus-like characteristics. You might find that your love life might be more sporadic and erratic than usual. At this time, children may be more unpredictable, but they might be showing some ingenious qualities, and lovers may as well. This could also be about perhaps adopting some kind of unusual hobby or interest. I mean, maybe could be bungee cord jumping. I don't think anyone's going to go on a tightrope, or do like that guy that did the tightrope with no netting, or going using a rocket jetpack. That might be a little extreme, but anyway. You understand what I'm saying, or doing something Uranus-like that could be of some kind of thing connected with a hobby, or something with some kind of fun, amusement, or enjoyment. It could be astrology, astronomy, doing some kind of something innovative even, maybe something with computers or electronics or aerospace. So anyway, next thing up is Neptune will be in Pisces still, so the 3rd house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, this could manifest in some cases, sadly, some dissipation or dissolving of communications. Some cases it could be the memory or the rational thinking. Siblings, cousins, neighbors might be somewhat nebulous and unclear at this time. This could be a time, too, where you may have more difficulty in seeing the fine print in documents. There may be more communications about your dreams at this time. And also, you might find, it could be a time where you might find yourself communicating or writing about Neptune-like things, such as poetry, dancing, the metaphysical, which can include astrology, spirituality, photography, chemistry, and perhaps even your dreams at this time as well. And you might be dealing with more confounding issues, maybe connected, maybe with short journeys and getting lost, maybe a little bit more so than usual, having to take maybe a lot of convoluted trips with a lot of twists and turns, and getting lost, maybe a greater propensity for getting lost at that time as well. So anyway, next thing up, Pluto will be in Capricorn still, so the 1st house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Sadly, I know a lot of you don't want me to say the dreaded D word, but I'm going to anyway. This could reflect in some cases, sadly, the actual literal, it could be the death of oneself, or maybe even someone you knew from your early childhood, or maybe factored in prominently in new beginnings. Now, a lot of cases, though, this could just be about the transformation, maybe to some degree, of the physical body, especially if this is the actual 1st house in the natal chart. It could be surgery. It could be the transformation through working out vigorously and being Capricorn very consistently in perhaps a very regimented manner. And also, but avoid being overly power-hungry, manipulative at this time. And also, This could give power to new beginnings at this time. It could be something that could be something Pluto related, such as something with the occult, astrology, supernatural. And also to avoid perhaps being overly obsessive or compulsive at this time than usual. And so anyway, the thing about, next thing I want to talk about as well, the next thing is going to be the North Node will be in Leo still, so the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, when we talk about the North Node in transit, this could be about having to confront or address an issue. And given, I mean, this is Leo and you're talking about the 8th house being emphasized and highlighted, it could be about confronting an arrogant, bombastic, overbearing, even egotistical or domineering, perhaps sexual partner, someone you're in an intimate relationship with, or in a shared resources situation with. Could also be, another way this can manifest is that at this time, you could be directed toward being more magnanimous and generous in shared resources situations, perhaps having to be a little bit more extravagant than you would like to be regarding matters connected with taxes, insurance matters. It could also be about making a transformation and doing so with taking a lot of pride in it, and doing so with a lot of really a lot of courage, fortitude, self-assuredness, and confidence as well at this time. But also at this time as well, remember the 8th house can also be about surgery. So it's also, I mean, it's important to understand that, I mean, it could be a time where you might be might be in that future, perhaps in the near future, it could be surgery that might involve something Leo related, such as the upper back or the heart at this time. So anyway, next thing up, the Black Moon Lilith will be in Aquarius still, so the 2nd house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. When we're talking about the Black Moon Lilith, it could be about what could put one in a strong state of fear or trepidation. Now, in this case, it could be about losing freedom and independence in monetary matters, and perhaps losing the ingenuity in terms of money, or having a situation where you work, perhaps that might be overly monotonous, boring, or orthodox, or something that's overly conventional. Now, also, too, this could be about somebody at the place where you're perhaps generating income that might be showing some really bizarre, unusual, or idiosyncratic behavior. It could be also at this time as well. Remember that the Black Moon Lilith could be about something that comes out of the bag, so to speak, that you don't want to come out, but it does come out anyway. It could be some kind of unusual or bizarre value at this time that may come out, or maybe some way you're generating income that's a little bit odd, or would seem odd or off to some people that you didn't want someone to know about, but it does happen to come out. So anyway, hold on a second, people. Well, last but not least, Chiron will be in Pisces still, so the 3rd house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, Chiron, of course, can be about emotional wounds and suffering, sometimes physical ones as well. Now, in some isolated cases, this could be about driving under the influence that might cause some accidents, especially if there's other things in the chart that may confer, or some other, it could be a transit that might reaffirm this. I mean, if this is making, say, an adverse aspect to, say, Neptune, that could really reinforce this, or even Mars, because Mars can be about things connected with accidents. Now, this could be, though, dealing with lack of direction in short journeys. Well, in some cases, it could be. Could also be about dealing, sadly, with deception or duplicity in connection with a sibling, a neighbor, a cousin, someone you know in short journeys, or maybe even someone from your early childhood. Perhaps nebulous thinking, ambiguous communications, things that are cryptic or might often be misconstrued during this time. Could also be about dealing perhaps with a sibling, cousin, or neighbor that might succumb to some kind of alcohol or drug use at this time, and being overly passive perhaps in third house matters. It could be over, say for example, a neighbor that maybe you needed to confront about something but just didn't, or for whatever reason did not do this. And also in some cases this could be about lethargy and indolence, even laziness, in matters connected with communications with siblings, with neighbors at this time, and even in any way. Anyway, people, and also Chiron, again, Chiron is the wounded healer, so in ways that you might be going through some suffering and struggling in connection with Chiron and Pisces and the third house, you may be well equipped to help others out dealing with comparable situations and problems, and do so with a lot of Pisces like empathy, compassion, self-sacrifice, and even idealism. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Capricorn October 2018 horoscope forecast. Stay tuned next time where I'll be giving you my Aquarius October 2018 horoscope forecast. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.